Update. Would I be the a-hole if I asked my stepdad to walk me down the aisle instead of my dad? Original post. When I, 28 female, was 4 years old, my dad cheated on my mom with his now wife and mom divorced him and got 50-50 in custody. I hated going to my father's house because I didn't want his wife to tell me what to do. My dad then reduced his time when he got married. I was 6 at the time and wasn't even invited to his wedding, but his stepkids were. His excuse was that I was still bitter and will ruin the ceremony. Over time, he only paid just the child support and I was completely neglected. When my dad had my half-brother, he was busy with him and ignored me. He even stopped taking me to his house for the weekends. He would ignore me, would tell me that he wouldn't talk to me unless I act like a good child, aka call my stepmom mom rather than her name. He would make excuses not to take me to ice cream or do any activities. There was a time when I graduated elementary school and he promised that he and I will go fishing. But he ghosted me and told my mom there was an emergency. I was again abandoned. By that time, my mom started dating my stepdad Lenny. Lenny was the father I never had. He was a single dad, but he still treated me like his own child. He taught me how to swim, how to drive my car, attended all the school functions I was in. He was there every time my dad abandoned me. I went very low contact with my dad, only contacting him on Christmas, and I don't even call him on Father's Day. So, fast forward to now, I am getting married and ask Lenny to walk me down the aisle because he's the only dad I have ever known. My dad and his family will be coming as guests. This infuriated my dad. He told me I am his only daughter and I shouldn't keep him away from his rights as a father. I am getting calls from his side of the family too. My father is upset that I am sidelining him. According to him, he has been a great father and I am being unfair to him. Also, he doesn't want Lenny to walk me down the aisle at all. I told my dad he can walk his stepdaughter down the aisle and he will only be my guest and my decision is final. He called me an a-hole and told me he didn't pay child support just so I could grow up to be an ungrateful brat. So was I wrong? I know he is my dad, but I just don't feel like he is. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Just tell him he's still bitter and will ruin the ceremony, and invite him. Definitely not the a-hole. OP could also tell him that he may have been a good dad, it just wasn't to OP. And that the only one who is acting like a brat is the one who is supposed to be the father. I don't know where dad was shopping, but I've never heard of child support buying the privilege of walking your abandoned, abused, and alienated daughter down the aisle. Ergo, not having him do it can't make her an ungrateful brat? Also, OP never called dad's wife mom, which was a condition he himself laid down, so dad basically stopped being dad on his own terms years ago. The ungrateful brat is actually an obedient offspring of the last time he really was her dad. I'm glad OP is Lenny. Ooh, her bio dad has me infuriated with that entitlement. Can we just invite him but virtual attendance only? I feel like that should be a thing for people who don't deserve to be there, but you have some sort of obligation to fulfill, position to acknowledge, or potential regret to avoid. Not the a-hole at all. My wife chose not to have her father walk her down the aisle, as she has a similar relationship with him as you describe. It isn't his right to walk you down the aisle because he donated some DNA. You owe him nothing. Seems like Lenny has earned that right. Get Lenny, your father, to walk you down the aisle. Sperm man can do one. Have a wonderful and magical day. Maybe throw back at the dad that if he'd done more than the bare minimum of paying child support, then maybe he'd have earned a right to walk OP down the aisle. Some ego if he thinks he can be a failure of a father to her and still give her away. Not a-hole. Now for the update. Sorry guys, I didn't get the time to respond to replies, but I did read them in my spare time. I'm currently at the airport waiting for our plane to our honeymoon, so I thought I should give you an update. I got married 2 days ago. I can say that I am relieved to know people don't think I am doing the bad thing. So I did just that. I just texted my dad that I am not changing my decision. If he wants to come to my wedding, he can. I am not going to force him. That didn't work. He called my mom and asked to talk to me about this situation. I was hoping he would drop this, but nope. He had to act as an entitled person. So I wrote him a long message. I did not want to talk to him without getting interrupted, as my dad interrupts a lot. I told him to give me one good reason I should let him walk me down the aisle when he never been a dad in my life. He never cared enough to make his marriage work with mom and decide to betray her and our family. Despite all of that, I still loved him, but every time he left me and abandoned me. Lenny has been my dad growing up. I doubt he even knows anything about me. He is just some guy who used to pay my child support and with whom I share DNA. He is nothing like my dad because he missed all the big events in my life. He never cared or even tried to be there for me, and he has the audacity to call me his daughter? Since he didn't do his fatherly duties, I don't think I should do any daughter duties towards him. How can he possibly think he could give me away when he already gave me away 20 years ago? A few minutes go by, and then he calls me and asks if this is what I have thought about him my entire life. I ask him where he was when I was graduating. Where was he when I won first prize in my dancing competition? Where was he when I needed someone to guide me? I dared him to tell me one thing about me. How much does he know me? When was the last time he initiated any conversations with me? He just went silent, then asked me if I was still mad about the past. I told him the past was the reason I know he is an unreliable man. All these years, if he has taught me anything, is that he is a trashy father, and someone like him cannot be trusted. I made the biggest mistake of my life believing he would come through. The only reason I ever even bothered, because of what he did in the past. Lastly, I will not force him to come to my wedding. That is his choice. It's not like he is paying for it anyways. That was it. Later I got a message from my stepmom that what I said has broken my father. That he is very much upset. I told her, well, if he is upset by the truth, then he shouldn't have asked and pushed my buttons. He has ignored me all my childhood. He doesn't get to play dad. My wedding went smoothly. I would say majority of my father's side of the family bailed. I had my mom's side and some of Lenny's family though, and overall, it was great. I cannot be more thankful to Lenny. Though it still hurts getting betrayed by my own dad, but I'm okay. My kids will know Lenny as their grandfather. He went silent. He asked me if I was still mad about the past. Good grief. Wait to try and shift the blame to the victim. What a jerk he is. A good friend of mine didn't have her father walk her down the aisle. She had her mother do it. Her dad was invited to the wedding, but he was just another guest. You did the right thing. He didn't come. In a way, I am glad he and his wife skipped it, because I would be worrying about a sulking face. Just a thought. Have you thought about asking Lenny to adopt you? Adult adoptions are a thing. I adopted my, used-to-be, stepson when he was 23. Never really thought about it. Lenny is married to my mom, so it never occurred to me that I needed to be adopted. He always treated me like his child, so he basically adopted me, though we never finalized the papers. He's broken because he finally realized he's a piece of trash deadbeat. I disagree. Much like people aren't sorry for what they did so much as sorry for getting caught. He's broken because his standard manipulation tactics aren't working for him this time. You broke his fantasy that he was a good father. That's what his current issue is. Stepmom can pound sand because she wasn't the one that suffered. It's amazing how abusers want everything to be in the past. Glad to hear the wedding went well. Your real father, Lenny, is the man. Beth is gonna spoil his grandchildren relentlessly. Enjoy your life with your chosen family. You earned it. Last story. Am I the a-hole for breaking up my dad's friendship of 14 years with one of his best friends? Here's the backstory. My dad, 46 male, and his best friend we will call Chris, 32 male, have been friends for 14 years and some change. They met at work. Chris is a cop, and got close ever since. Mind you, this friend of his has been in my life since I was about 6 to 7 years old, and I am now 20. Chris goes to every single family party/events, so I'm always seeing him. While under the age of 18, there was no really interaction between him and I. A simple hi and bye, maybe an occasional side hug, but never really held a conversation. As soon as I turned 18, I was in a relationship already for a little over a year. Chris had decided to follow me on Instagram. Saw nothing weird of it. I follow most of my mom's friends on social media, so I didn't really see an issue with following Chris, as he's been in my life for so many years and I felt comfortable with him. Over time, he would like my stories that I would post of myself. Again, I still didn't really see anything of it. I would tell my mom, and she would say to brush it off because Chris is known to be a weird guy, whatever that meant. But that's when the comments started to come into play. He would slide up with the heart eyes or make small comments about how beautiful I look, and that any guy would be so lucky to have me. All I would really say is thank you, or just like his message. I didn't really know how to take the compliments, nor did I want to engage any further. A year later, when I turned 19, the comments became more and more disturbing. He would tell me to sit on his face, that he wanted to put his kids in me, that he wanted a family with me, trying to convince me to get into a relationship with him, and says my dad would learn to adjust to it. When I ignore him or leave him on red, he'd send me constant sad emojis and ask why I hated him. If he was too ugly for me, what he did wrong, why I didn't want to be with him. I was too afraid to tell my parents, because the last thing I wanted them thinking was that I was insinuating this type of relationship and or ruining my dad and his friendship. This went on for 2 years until my 20th birthday this year in May, when he made a comment about how he was my birthday gift and to go see him at his home. That was my breaking point, and I decided to tell my mom. At first, she just kept saying how Chris has always been a weird guy and to ignore him, until I told her all the explicit comments he was making. She got so upset and told my dad right away. My dad was absolutely livid. He confronted Chris over a phone call, where Chris told my dad, and I quote, "I know it was wrong of me. That's why I never spent the night at your place, or else I knew I'd be tempted to do something." My dad told Chris that he had thrown 14 years of friendship down the drain, and had blocked him on everything, as did my mom and all of her friends. My dad also told all of his coworkers, who then blocked Chris as well. I can't help but feel so guilty. My dad reassured me and was so hurt that I didn't feel comfortable enough to tell him sooner. But I could also tell he was hurt for losing someone he considered like his little brother. Even though this happened 2 months ago, I still feel horrible and wonder if I would have never told anyone that they would still be friends and I would just deal with Chris's vulgar comments. Now for the comments before the mini update. Or else I knew I'd be tempted to do something. This sounds a bit rapey. You definitely did the right thing. And he's a cop on top of that, so he could have easily pulled some strings and made it look like he did nothing. Grooming. This is grooming. Full stop. Predatory grooming. OP, your safety, physically and mentally, are the only thing that matters. Your mom kinda knew something was always a bit off with Chris. It is absolutely predatory, and proceeded as if he's done this sort of thing before. And in my comment, I was like, someone needs to bring this to the attention of his superiors. It is obsessive compulsive beyond being predatory. It even smacks of something like the trolling face of serial predators. They get caught up in their fantasy, superimposed as it can be over reality, and they can become dangerous when rebuffed. Cops are supposed to go through some pretty rigorous psyche evaluations before ever being passed through the academies to become full-fledged law enforcement officers. This is disturbing behavior, and mark my words, unless he gets therapy, he will do it again, just with some other guy's daughter. Not Yale, you did the right thing, and your dad clearly thinks so too. He's doing everything he can to protect you from this predator and put his family first. There is nothing to be ashamed about. Be proud that you spoke up and your family protected you. The dad knew it was the right thing. It's just that he said that he let somebody like that near his kid. He's probably torn in a million directions right now, between losing a close friend, not seeing this behavior beforehand, and failing to protect his daughter, and that you didn't come to him right away. If you see this OP speaking as a guy, I drop something personal on your dad right away, just so he knows for a fact that you still trust him. It seems stupid, but just telling him isn't enough right now. Even if it's something pointless and stupid, no matter how small, just anything at all. So let me get this straight. Not only did your parents support you and believe you and do the right thing, you think your dad would have rather not known? You are so incredibly wrong. Your dad is only sad because you didn't tell them sooner, wondering what he did. Why you didn't feel comfortable about letting your parents know what was happening. They love you and support you. You have nothing to feel guilty about, at all. Hug your parents and move on with your life. Don't look back. You should feel awesome. Your parents have your back. Also, if Chris wanted to maintain his friendship with your parents, all he had to do was not try to groom you. You did nothing wrong. All you did was shine a light on what a creep he is by showing others what he decided to do. Edit/update. I didn't expect this many people to care nor read this, but I'm just making some small tweaks to what people are asking. I did tell Chris that my dad would not be happy if he found out he was messaging me inappropriate things and how I'm too young for him. Chris would just say that the age doesn't matter, and if the feelings are true, then why stop from trying? I didn't block him right away because I saw the man all the damn time. So the last thing I wanted was for him to confront me in person or go out of his way to make another account to message me. For those saying why I never spoke up sooner, I told my mom immediately when I noticed Chris started liking my stories, and she was the one to tell me to brush it off. So I felt like this was just normal. As far as the age gap between him and my dad when they first became friends, honestly, I have no idea. I don't ask him details about his life and friend choices. Most of my dad's co-workers are all younger than him and call him Gramps or old man. I guess there's just more younger guys. My dad is a ticket officer, meter maid they like to call it, and a security officer for concerts and whatnot. Him and Chris met when they were both security officers, which is why Chris was 18 at the time and later on became a police officer. And for the comments regarding my mom and if Chris used to say things to her, he absolutely did. He'd tell her how beautiful she is and how lucky my dad is, and I'm sure more than she keeps for me. But she did inform me that my dad warned Chris and set a boundary. After that, he stopped. So, after everything was revealed, Chris told everyone that I led him on and made him think we were going to be something real. Thank you all so much for the kind comments and support. I've gotten better about not beating myself up over this. Also, very sorry if my storytelling is rough.